Hey, you guys. It's Rachel here with Senza Tempo Cane Corso. I'm filming you, Savannah, because you're making funny faces. I couldn't film because I had a really crazy night. So yesterday afternoon, I noticed that Mona looked not well. I could see it in her face, and I've been trying to wean the puppies. So I've had her like partially outside. So I brought her inside and had her nurse the puppies to kind of get, all that cleared out as far as what happens when you wean them is that they just, they build up the milk and then you let the puppies drain them and etc. Well, her milk production is so good that dare I say it's like too good that that I think what happened is that the puppies weren't fully able to drain her properly. The vet didn't think that. The vet said it had nothing to do with that and that it was just chance. But I noticed that she had what looked to be mastitis. And so I drained it manually myself and seemed fine at first. And then it filled back up. So I drained it again. And then I went to the store to get a thermometer because I realized I didn't have a thermometer. And came back and took her temperature, and her temperature was 105. So I immediately took her upstairs, put her in the bathtub, and showered her down with, you don't want to do like cold water, but you do want to do like room temperature water. Because if you do too cold, you can like shock dogs. So anyway, had her in there for about 15 minutes, just cooling her off, got her temperature down to 103.7. And then I took her to the emergency vet, and they gave her a prescription of antibiotics and then a fever reducer and inflammation reducer. Someone sent it. And there was nothing in it. There's no notes or anything. Somebody sent us a gift, but I'm not sure who because it doesn't say anything. It said Amazon fulfillment. Oh. I was literally talking about that yesterday. Yep. It's so anyway, I also changed her food. I noticed that she was having a harder time keeping on weight from the puppies, and so I've moved her. This is what she's on now. It's Victor High Pro Plus. So it's a 30 fat, 20 30 protein, 20 fat. I know, baby girl. Yeah, it still hurts her. I wish that I could help her, but there's nothing I can do. The vet said that what may happen is that it might abscess. It may like basically, rupture out the side or something. Which it looks, and I believe it ends up looking like an abscess. So, you see, she's looking at. Yeah, it's really awesome. Why does that look like? That looks specific.
So, there's something we call these at school, but I can't say it on video. They call it like a something.
Don't say it then. Yeah, don't get me in no trouble.
It's to do with like Bob Marley.
Okay.
That's what they call it.
Okay, so you know what that is.
I know what it is because everybody wears these at school.
Oh, that's the thing. Okay.
So
somebody was like, I'm gonna keep you hip. Yeah, she's shedding. All my dogs are shedding so much. It's crazy. Anyway, so I thought she was gonna die. She would have if I hadn't have been paying attention. I will absolutely say that. And it really struck me because And that was one of the things that went through my mind was I was like, I'm really lucky that I'm so perceptive that I knew immediately when I looked at her that she wasn't well. It's not like she was displaying any signs. She wasn't panting. She wasn't drooling, like nothing like that. She just looked extra sad. And like Mona's actually a very happy dog, but she looks sad.
And I asked Mom, and Mom was like, she just didn't look good. She said she looked sad. And I was like, sadder than Mona sad?
Yeah. I was like, she just looked extra sad. And so anyway, so I have no doubt that if I hadn't have caught it, she would have been gone in the morning when I went out there. Like she absolutely would have been gone. So, because 105 is an extremely high temperature. 106, they're usually having seizures. They're like, their brain is cooking at that point. And she wasn't, and the thing about it is she wasn't panting anything. She was sleeping, but she was drooling. And when I walked in and I saw, and I was like, is that drool on one of the puppies? And she goes, yeah. And I said, is she drooling right now? And she said, yeah. And I was like, oh man. So we took her temperature and so anyway, so really pays to have, to have your eyes on your dog, to be monitoring and watching. And both Reese and I got really hit hard yesterday. Achilles, I'm not going to go into detail about it, but let's just suffice to say that she was also at the vet and she didn't get, the best news either. So, it's just been crazy. It's been really crazy. And, I've had some other stuff going on in the background that is in relation to, my kennel and me building, the kennel here, like the actual kennel. And I turned in that paperwork today, and that it was just a really, like, I'm not very, I don't have a lot of background in like a lot of paperwork type stuff. You know what I mean? Like I had a job where I had a desk job, but like I didn't do a lot of like government type forms and you know what I mean? Like all that official stuff. And it's all been very daunting for me. Like I'm a very artistic, free, I'm the type of person where it's very difficult for me to sit still for very long. And so that kind of stuff is very hard for me. It's very hard for me to concentrate on things that I'm not interested in. Girl, you better sweep that up.
Is there any water in there for her?
That in that orange bucket, there should be water.
Oh, the thing's covered right now. That's why she's looking at it.
Okay. And so anyway, what I will say is that it's actually been, oddly enough, initially it was terrifying. It was very stressful. It was anxiety producing. But over time, it's gotten better. Like I've gotten more used to it. Huh?
It's good. It works really well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've noticed that.
I wonder if it works on like stuff around the house.
I don't know. I've noticed that like I said, that I'm getting better at it, that it's less stressful. And what I originally thought was like a personality trait in myself, my inability to do these things, while I have no enjoyment out of it, I will say that I have a much easier time just sitting down and doing it and not getting so stressed out or anxious about the process, if that makes sense. So anyway, so enough about all that, but I just had to give you guys an update on Mona. She's doing fantastically.
The weather's changing. It's almost spring.
Yeah, she looks fantastic. She's doing fantastic.
You see how nice the weather was today?
What?
You see how nice the weather was today?
The weather, yeah, it was fantastic. Although I was pretty much I was so tired, you guys. Because, like, this is the thing, is that when you have a dog that has a fever like that, so when I left the vet, well, when I got to the vet, I asked them when they called me, because they're still doing curbside for some reason. And I asked them, I said, what's her temperature? And they were like 104.4. So it had gone back up from the 103.7 at the house to 104.4 on my drive to the vet, which was an hour drive, mind you. And so...
Oh, did you have to stay around that area?
Yeah, you just have to stay in the parking lot. So they prescribe her this anti-inflammatory, which is also a fever reducer, and an antibiotic that's very expensive for her weight. And but it was pretty quick, and I was like, okay. I was like, what's her temperature? And they were like, well, it's still the 104. And I was like, or it was like 104.2. And I was like, are you sure that she should be coming home with it still a temperature of 104? And the vet was just not super concerned, and she was like, well, she's like, it'll do what it's gonna do. And she goes, it'll either reabsorb, or it'll, she says it'll do its own thing. It may rupture, like kind of like an abscess type thing. And she goes, if so, you just clean it out and it'll heal on its own. And she was like, it was like no big deal. And so, but like, I'm internally freaking out, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I've never seen a fever of 104. And I know what it had done. And so I was just really scared. And I brought her home, took her temperature again. It was like 104, I think 2 still. And so then I took a cold, wet rag, just a very wet rag, and I just wet her whole body down. And then I put the windows open and I put the fan on so that it would be nice and cold. Because you really do want to force the body. Like, I had a fever one time when I was pregnant with Savannah, and it was pretty high, and they made me do that. It was the most miserable thing I've ever experienced of just having a fever and having to be cold. All I wanted was a blanket, and I just had to sit there and suffer so that my body would cool down. So I know that that's the right thing to do. And I'm trying to sleep, but I'm so anxious. Like, it's like I'm sleeping because I'm just exhausted, but I'm not really like resting, And every time I turn over, every little sound, every little anything, I'm like worried about her and thinking that because the fear is that the fever spiked, right? Because the thing about it is like when you're dealing with a fever like that, you've got to get it in check fast, because they can die. That's just really what it is. They can die. And so I was so scared that her fever was going to spike when I was asleep. And so that's why I wasn't getting good sleep. And I would have these massive adrenaline rushes, like whenever Savannah woke up. And then whenever I heard because I'd asked Savannah to do her, I'd asked her to check her temperature whenever she woke up. And so I hear the beep of the thermometer. My heart's just pounding in my chest. I'm so nervous. And it was still 104 though, right?
No, remember this morning?
No, whenever you first woke up though, it was.
First woke up, yeah, and then it went down to like 103 or something.
Yeah, so when she first woke up, it was still 104, which really freaked me out. Because now I know she's had this fever all night long. And then...
But she slept really well.
She slept really well. And she's so spoiled right now. And then you took it again and it was like 103.
Yeah, right before I left.
No, because it was 102 when you left.
Oh, I guess you're right, yeah.
So she took it again. It was like 103 something. And then she did it again and it was 102.6. So anyway, her milk just does not, like, I can already see it. She's filled back up again. You can put her in there with them. Let them drain her.
Okay, Mona, come here.
Oh my God, look at that baby bean.
Mona, baby.
Look at my poor baby.
You want to see your babies? Come on, baby girl. You want to see your babies?
You have to go in there. You have to show her what you're doing.
Mona, come on. Come here. Want to see your babies? You got it. Are you guys seeing the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson?
Oh my God. I will tell you, Savannah. She has a huge crush on that dude. I will tell you that I watched the premiere. I watched him, and he is he is a fine man. He is. I have a thing for the tall ones. I mean, what girl doesn't, right? That's everybody knows that. But tall, skinny, lanky. That's So he's quite that. But anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm so tired, and I can't go to sleep until at least I'm gonna try to move her progressively earlier, because obviously I don't want to have to stay up every night till 1 o'clock in the morning to give her medication because that's when her medication was given. So, anyway, I'm going to progressively start, moving it forward a little bit. I'll probably do like 30-minute increments until I can get it to a reasonable time. So, anyway, that's the update. She's fine. Everyone's good. And it is what it is. So, y'all have a good day, and I'll talk at you later. Oh, that looks so cute. Say thank you.
Thank you. Hey, stop. Make me uncomfortable.
Sorry, y'all. Anyway, bye, y'all.